Hey, what's going on, guys? Now that Curse of Osiris is out today, I can safely give this initial reaction review for you guys. It's not a full review, it's initial reactions. It's just how I felt about what I've played so far in the DLC. Keep in mind, I will not be doing any spoilers whatsoever in this video as much as I can possibly help it. And this video is really geared towards those of you who possibly haven't bought it yet and want to know if it's actually worth the money. So here's my spoiler-free rundown of what I thought of this DLC so far. Keep in mind, grain of salt here, the Raid Lair has not come out yet, and the second batch of Season 2 updates have not come out yet either. So take this with a grain of salt. This is just my initial reactions based on what I've currently played so far. After being super hyped for Destiny 2's vanilla game, and having my expectations slowly being dashed one by one, I learned the lesson to keep my expectations at a very healthy level, which the recent Bungie blog about the state of Destiny 2 really went a long way to doing that. It really helped me keep my expectations to exactly what they're promising for the DLC, which I think was a correct move, posting that in written form as opposed to doing a stream about it, because there's no real way to misunderstand the text you see on the screen, at least not nearly as many as there would be from somebody saying it on a camera. So it helped me to know exactly what to expect and not to really get my hopes up too far. And knowing that, I went into the DLC kind of feeling like I would expect this to be not as bad as the vanilla and possibly slightly more fun. Those were my expectations going into this DLC. And what we got this time essentially is about 5 or 7 story missions that were good. They were good story missions. The story was very well executed, in my opinion. It was about on par with Rise of Iron, I would say. We got 5 story missions. We got, I forgot how many strikes. I haven't gotten them to drop for me yet because I've only done 1 heroic strike, because I wanted to try and see if that was a more difficult strike, if it actually felt like a heroic strike. And let's see, they gave us heroic strikes, they gave us story missions, they gave us adventures, and they gave them to us at varying difficulties as well. So you have normal and heroic, essentially. And of course, the heroic adventures are going to play into how you craft your weapons from the patrol zone. So there's a little bit more things to do, and they've started to give you a reason to do them, which is great. I love that they're doing that. And I can see them building on this in the future. But we'll get into that in another video. But essentially, that's what we got for this DLC. So now that we've been over what we've got in this DLC, the question that matters right now is this enough to turn this ship around? And honestly, what we currently have as of December 5th, 2017 is not enough to turn the ship around. It's a step in the right direction for sure. They're turning the wheel. It's starting to move. But I think what's really going to turn the tides here is potentially what they're going to do on the, I want to say the 12th, with the next batch of updates. And the spring DLC is really going to be where we start to see if they're going to turn the ship around fast enough. Because if we give them enough time, they will make this into the game we all want it to be. But I don't think a lot of the player base is willing to do that this time around, because we did it already one time. We did it for 3 years with Destiny 1, and I can see a lot of people were expecting D2 to not only pick up where it left off in D1, but to escalate way further. And it only escalated in relation to Destiny 1 Vanilla as opposed to Destiny 1 Rise of Iron. And I can see why people are kind of frustrated with the franchise for that reason, because they were expecting to just start with every bit of activities that they already had in D1 Year 3 and then only add to it. And I feel like that's not really a fair expectation, but I can see why they would have it. I don't really know if it's going to be enough to keep people around for much longer. Honestly, I got through the entire story in about 5 hours, including breaks, and that was during my stream. So I mean, there wasn't much to the story, which means that if there isn't a shit ton of things to do after the story, you're going to have the same problem with your player base maybe a month from now, which unfortunately might be happening. The only reason why that might not happen is because of all these other live events, because they have been pretty good about adding in more events like the Faction Rally, like Iron Banner, and now they're adding in the Dawning for this month because it's December. So that might keep people around, and I hope it does. And I think those live events are going to be one of those kind of stopgap measures that keep people around during those dry spells, which isn't a bad thing. It's actually a pretty good thing to do. And of course, I'm working on things like those Faction Rally cheeses, which is the entire reason why I have a full set of faction gear on all my characters. And I basically complete everything whenever they drop a whole new set of gear. The first day or the first couple of days, I've got everything I need. So I think the game will get better. I think it needs more time, and it's not there yet. So the last question, the one that you're probably asking right now is, hey, Geronimo, should I buy this? The question I want to ask you, and this will answer the question for you, don't worry, is do you like Destiny 2 right now? If you like it right now, then you will definitely like the DLC. If you don't, if you're dissatisfied with it, there's a good chance you won't really be satisfied with this DLC, and you may want to hold out. Maybe until spring. Maybe check again then. Or maybe buy it now, see what you think. If it's not that big of a deal to you to just drop, I think it's like $20 for just this DLC. If you want to drop that and just see what it's like, cool. But if you are really dissatisfied with the current state of Destiny 2 pre-Curse of Osiris, you're probably not going to be much happier with it now, because a lot of the changes just aren't there yet. Keep in mind, I have not experienced the Raid Lair. I have not experienced any of the updates or sandbox changes that are going to be occurring on the 12th. So this might be totally null and void in a couple weeks here. But those are my initial reactions, what I think of it day 1, December 5th, 2017. If you thought this video was useful, if it helped you make a decision, or if you just liked where I was coming from on it, leave a like. If you're new to this channel, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. GG.